The opponent still with 2 Protect Shields, 2 high behind, so we go for the Night Slash bait. Night Slash force a Protect Shield, we get the boost, then we go straight for the Iron Head. The opponent makes a great catch, but Groudon not going to appreciate the damage. Welcome back to the channel. Normal service has resumed. We're back at it with triple Shadow Madness, this time in the Open Master League, courtesy of one of the greatest members in the community, someone with the most ridiculous collection of Shadow Pokemon I have ever seen, my friend Boston. My last upload did spark a lot of controversy of a lot of people claiming cheating. All 3 of these Shadow Pokemon are very good IVs, however Boston is 100% legit, and that is backed up because all 3 of these Pokemon are caught in his hometown. However, I know this is the internet, so I'm sure people are going to talk shit regardless. Now that's out of the way, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see the battle of the Steel types. This is probably not a great matchup for us, and when I say probably not, let's not kid ourselves. Dialga used to be the king until Zygarde come around. It's still pretty good, and we are getting torn apart by these resisted Dragon Breath. Boston fires off the Night Slash. We don't see the boost. The opponent fires off the Iron Head, also resisted, and it almost knocks us out. Boston fires off the second Night Slash, getting Dialga down to around a third health. Dialga cleanly wins the one shield. We now send in Lugia. Looking for the farm down, the opponent make a last second charge move. Boston last second commits a protection on the Iron Head. Lugia essentially on the team to give us some bulk because the other 2 Pokemon are ridiculously squishy. The opponent now sends in Kyogre. Boston farming up to the Aeroblast and baiting with the Sky Attack. Kyogre gonna invest the Protect Shield. Boston then pivots out into Shadow Ampharos, and the opponent definitely thinking fuck the algorithm as Ampharos core breaks the remainder of the opponent's team. We fire off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing goes unshielded. The opponent doesn't even farm up to an Aeroblast. Ampharos incredibly classy, but Sky Attack isn't going to get the job done, especially from such a bulky Pokemon that hits like a wet noodle. Boston fires off the second Brutal Swing, securing the knockout back out. Comes Kyogre, and Ampharos still not done, able to make one further Brutal Swing, which actually goes unshielded, and it looks like the opponent can save that shield for next season as Lugia is going to be able to come in, shield once and commit to the full Dragon Tail farm down. The opponent bait with the Surf. They are going to reach one further Surf. However, that certainly isn't going to get the job done. Lugia withstands the damage, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. So I'm going to chalk it up as Triple Shadow Spice 1, Basic Bitch Meta nil. In the next battle, we'll see another Dragon in the lead. Again, this should be favourable. However, Scizor doesn't really have too many favourable matchups in the Open Master League outside of Fairies. The opponent goes straight for the Dragon Claw, and Scizor's already below half health. Boston, who loves his shadows, undeterred, returns fire with the Night Slash, likewise getting Dragonite below half health. Boston would have been able to outpace to the next Night Slash, but instead makes a very heads-up play, banking the energy and catching the charge move onto Lugia, in the process drawing out Metagross. Lugia can only hit for resisted the entirety of the time, because we're not running Hydro Pump like an absolute mad lad. However, despite this isn't a bad matchup, as we far outbulk the opponent. We full send the Aeroblast, rocking this Metagross deep into the red, the opponent recognising they're going to have to throw, or we'd actually win the Zero Shield, which is pretty ridiculous. The opponent fire off the Meteor Mash. We send in Amphoros, get ahead in energy. We've still got 2 shields apiece. The opponent send out Mewtwo. Boston going to go straight for the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing should be forcing a Protect Shield, and it does. We then go for the Wham Bam combo play, serving up that Big Mac and the fries. Night Slash goes unshielded. We get the boost. Scizor now tearing through Mewtwo like a hot knife through butter. The opponent send back out Dragonite. Night Slash secures the knockout. Back out comes Mewtwo, and we Simul KO, and we take the dub. Moving on to the next one. Scizor into Mamoswine. What a beautiful lead. The opponent save switch into Gyarados, and Boston is the algorithm confirmed as we answer with Ampharos. Boston commits a huge shield, correctly shielding up the crunch, which is going to allow Ampharos to get the full Volt Switch farm down. Boston switches between Trailblaze and Focus Blast. Throughout this video, I really wish we had their big bad blast. We land the Brutal Swing bait, which is going to allow us to likely land the Trailblaze. However, Trailblaze definitely a lot more underwhelming than the big bad blast. The opponent going to need to throw or will reach another charge move. The opponent's counting absolutely on point. They throw on the CMP tie. Ampharos has more than done its job, so we elect to let it go down. We send in Scizor, look for the full Bullet Punch farm down. Is this enough for a high horsepower? We shield up the Avalanche, but let's not kid ourselves. Avalanche is a pretty good move and would have done huge damage. The opponent's final Pokemon is Metagross. We fire off the Night Slash this time. We see no such boost. Boston continues to farm up, fires off the second Night Slash, which should be forcing the final protection, which it does. We then send in Lugia, and Lugia is going to tank these charge moves for days. Not only does Metagross have to get rid of Lugia, it's got to leave with enough residual energy to outpace our very healthy Scizor. The opponent reaches the next Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash doesn't secure the knockout. Boston reaches the Sky Attack. Sky Attack won't be lethal, but Metagross is going to be left on a sliver of HP. The opponent does get the Bullet Punch farm down. However, they're so low, they're just going to concede the match. And that is going to be a good game. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Scizor into Zacian. Our target has been acquired. The Bullet Punch is going to tear through the opponent. It looks like they're lagging, or perhaps just thinking, what the fuck is on my screen? They say switch into Mewtwo. They don't even build up to the Shadow Ball. They throw the Side Strike, and yikes, that did huge damage. We bank the energy, pivot into Lugia. Mewtwo can be a real box of tricks. They can hit us for super effective with the Legacy Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, or Thunderbolt. This opponent running Legacy Shadow Ball, but we withstand the damage. Return fire with the Sky Attack. Sky Attack secures the knockout. Back out comes Zacian. Our Dragon Tails are double resisted. The opponent's Snarls are super effective. This would be one very ambitious farm down. The opponent not wanting to tank a charge opts to throw the play rough. Boston's going to send back out Scizor as the opponent still has 2 Protect Shields. He goes for a cheeky masturbating session. Boston is the best masturbator in the world. We get the boost. The opponent catches the Iron Head onto Groudon, but Groudon not going to appreciate this damage. Iron Head does almost half of their HP. Boston then pivots out into Amphoros. As someone who used Shadow Pokemon for 21 months exclusively, this is most certainly going to be a bait. Boston thought about calling it. We do get baited, but Boston doesn't care. We fire off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing forces the final Protect Shield. The opponent then throws an alignment, giving us a full 3 Volt Switch. Boston again gets baited. However, we've already got the Brutal Swing locked and loaded. Boston fires off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing does secure the knockout. It's only Zacian remaining. Unfortunately, we can only hit for resisted with our charge moves, but Zacian running out of HP, we fire off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing gets the opponent low. Again, we go for that wham bam combo play. Send in Scizor and Night Slash is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see another lead where Scizor should be favourable. However, I'm pretty sure we're going to find out it isn't a good matchup. Scizor doesn't have the best stat product. It's probably why you don't see it very often in the Master League. The opponent fire off the Breaking Swipe. We bank our energy, pivot out into Amphoros. Amphoros also about to get the debuff treatment. Boston opts to shield up the Breaking Swipe. The opponent then send out Groudon. It seems like whenever we're using Amphoros, we've always got the wrong move. This is again where Trailblaze would be decent. It would hit for super effective. Big Bad Blast still rocks Groudon below half health, which is very respectable damage considering we got the Breaking Swipe debuff. The opponent fire off the Fire Punch, securing the knockout. Boston sends in Lugia, and Lugia is the absolute wall to Groudon. The opponent fire off the Fire Punch, which is neutral, but it's an absolute shit move, especially when it doesn't get same type attack bonus. Groudon fires off another Fire Punch, and Lugia still in the green. We get the full Dragon Tail farm down, leave with residual energy. The opponent sending Giratina Altered. Is this the Ultra League? Perhaps. It looks like an Ultra League battle, as we've got Scizor and they've got Giratina with the big 6 legs. Whilst I was doing what I always do best, chat absolute nonsense, the opponent invested a very good Protect Shield, correctly shielding off the Aeroblast. The opponent fires off the Ancient Power, which does hit for super effective. We don't see a boost. Boston goes for another combo play, fires off the Night Slash back out. Comes the Rayquaza, we fire off yet another Night Slash. Night Slash forces the final Protect Shield. The opponent get the full Dragon Tail farm down, and Lugia is about to get permanently debuffed. Wincon for Boston is committing to the full Dragon Tail farm down, Aeroblast and Giratina, hoping with a -1 attack, it's enough to knock out. Is Shadow Aeroblast going to be enough to secure the dub? Who was worried? We take yet another very impressive dub. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Shadow Scizor into the floaty Giratina, aka Giratina Origin. This Giratina a lot more prevalent in the Master League. Boston stays in, farms up, throws the Night Slash on the CMP tied to a potential Shadow Ball. Night Slash, to my surprise, does force a Protect Shield. If you're wondering why I'm surprised, you never want to shield the first move when the move has a potential to buff the opponent's attack, like Night Slash. The opponent bait us with the ominous wind, but Boston's still able to outpace to the next Night Slash, which does go unshielded. We then look to catch the potential Shadow Ball onto Amphoros. Oof, that hurt. The opponent continues to stay in, then looks to catch the Brutal Swing onto Groudon. Boston says no, full sends the Focus Blast goes unshielded, And again, Groudon, absolute tanks that really well. Boston, however, has a very nice surprise for this Groudon in the form of Lugia. As much as I'm horny for the big boom moments, it's probably advantageous of Boston. That Focus Blast didn't do too much damage. It does allow Lugia to come in, get a huge farm down and leave with a lot of residual energy. The opponent fires off Fire Punch. Number 3 getting us below half health. The opponent still with 1 Protect Shield remaining. Send in Dragonite, and this time there's no baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? Aeroblast goes unshielded, get absolutely wrecked. Back out comes Giratina. Lugia Dragon Tail farms down and the opponent saves that shield for next season. In the next battle, Scizor into Dialga. The battle of the steel types, where we're definitely not favoured. Boston farms up, fires off the Night Slash. Show me the boost. Come on RNG gods, please be kind. We don't get a boost. The opponent gonna fire off the Iron Head. That rocks us deep into the red, but Scizor is gonna make one final Night Slash. As we didn't get a boost, this isn't gonna do too much damage. The opponent going to now be able to get the full Dragon Breath farm down. Boston then sends in Lugia. Last time the opponent only made an Iron Head, and again this is just an Iron Head. Boston, recognising this isn't a Draco, refuses to shield. Lugia gets the full Dragon Tail farm down in the process, leaves with residual energy and 2 Protect Shields. Out comes Giratina. We farm up to the Aeroblast bait with the Sky Attack. The opponent shits their pants, putting up a Protect Shield. We then pivot out into Amphoros. As we still have 2 Protect Shields, this smells like a bait. Boston respects the Shadow Ball. The opponent does Masturbate and then sends out Mewtwo. Mewtwo not going to appreciate this residual energy. Brutal Swing rocks Mewtwo below half health. We look to fire off the next one, but we lose CMP. Can we survive a Psy Strike? No, we cannot. It's now all down to Lugia. Lugia going to have to shield up whatever Mewtwo throws, as even a resisted Psy Strike will be lethal. We need 3 Dragon Tails to knock out Mewtwo. 1, 2, 3. We do get the farm down. Back out comes Giratina. We go straight for the Sky Attack. Sky Attack won't be lethal, but does force the final Protect Shield. And the opponent is going to be able to outpace to the Ominous Wind. And we're going to take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Scizor into Mamoswine. Let's go. Mamoswine not going to appreciate the bullet punches. The opponent stays in. Are you serious? The opponent farms up to a potential high horsepower. Boston correctly shields at the high horsepower. This is going to allow Scizor to get the full bullet punch farm down. And my god, we have almost 100 energy. The opponent send out the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death Master League Edition Ho-oh. We instantly retreat into Amphoros, drawing out Rayquaza. Rayquaza doesn't shield up the Brutal Swing to my surprise. As let's not kid ourselves, Rayquaza uses shield absolutely everything. Break and Swipe takes care of Amphoros. Of course we're going to return with Scizor, as we're double weak to fire, and Scizor definitely wants no part of that flying Firebird. We fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash doesn't knock out. We do get the Bullet Punch farm down. Back out comes Ho-oh. We fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash goes unshielded. Switch Timer pops up, and here comes Lugia. The opponent still with 2 Protect Shields. Too high behind. However, we're actually going to be applying quite a lot of fast move pressure with the Dragon Tails. The opponent fires off the Sacred Fire. Boston continuing to farm up. Boston gonna have to invest his final Protect Shield here, as Scizor will feint to 1 more Incinerate. Boston again farms up, throws the Sky Attack. Sky Attack forces the first Protect Shield. Boston able to outpace to the next Sky Attack. If Switch Timer's up, it's time for the combo play. The Switch Timer isn't up. The opponent doesn't manage to farm down. Okay, Scizor, this is your time to shine. Sacred Fire secures the knockout. Boston goes to the BM Iron Head, and Scizor is a Ho-oh counter confirmed. You heard it here first. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, Shadow Scizor into Giratina Origin. We saw the last opponent shield our first Night Slash. Ideally, we'd love to see that again. The opponent throws on 6. They're going straight for the Ominous Wind. The opponent does shield the first move. Actually, it wasn't CMP. Did we just deny the opponent? I didn't see a Shadow Claw. I am getting old, so perhaps I just missed it. The opponent full send the Shadow Ball. Boston correctly shield it up. The opponent then send out Lugia. Boston farms up and stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We catch the Sky Attack onto Amphoros, where it is resisted and doesn't do too much damage. Boston farms up, fires off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing probably won't be lethal, as Lugia is incredibly thick. When I say won't be lethal, my god, it wasn't even close. Boston expends his final Protect Shield on the Sky Attack, and then he's going to get the full Volt Switch farm down. What the heck? No, I cannot believe it. The opponent was in the red, we was in the yellow. Our Volt Switches are super effective. We get same type attack bonus. The opponent running Dragon Tails and not a dragon managed to get the farm down instead. What the hell was that? Amphoros, you really let us down, buddy. Xboston now down a shield, and we don't have switch. Back out comes Giratina. We pivot back out into Scizor, fire off the Night Slash. The opponent don't invest that protection, then make a savage catch. The opponent catches the Night Slash onto Xerneas. Wow. Who the heck sends a fairy out into a loaded Scizor? This mad lad does. They correctly shield up the Iron Head. The opponent going to be unable to Geomancy. Farm us down. Scizor has got this thing below half health. Close combat does secure the knockout. Our Dragon Tails are double resisted, so Xboston can have an impossible task of Dragon Tailing down. The opponent fire off the Moonblast Lugia, running out of HP. Xboston continuing to farm up, but Xerneas too spammy, and the opponent did make a very nice play. The opponent then make another catch, catching the Sky Attack onto Giratina, and they get the Shadow Claw farm down. Mr. Opponent, I take my hat off to you, very well played. Time for redemption. Scizor into Xerneas. The opponent save switch into Groudon. It looks like RPS in our favour, as we have a perfect answer for Groudon in the form of our Shadow Lugia. The opponent fires off the double resisted Precipice Blades. Fire Punch is a shit move, but I definitely think it's the way to go. The opponent recognising that, fire off the Fire Punch the next time. Xboston now full sending an Aeroblast. I'm not sure on this player, as I think Sky attacking and then farming down would have put us in a better spot. We do go for an undercharge, but it's still lethal. The opponent send out Dialga. Xboston commits to the Aeroblast, forcing the energy. The opponent fire off the Iron Head, securing the knockout. Dialga, not something the rest of our team want to see. We send in Amphoros. The Volt Switches are resisted. We could hit the neutral with the Brutal Swing, but Xboston has other ideas. Fires off the Trailblaze, forcing a Protect Shield. Dialga fires off a charge, and we see the instant no shield deployed. We withstand the Iron Head. Can we make the Brutal Swing? No, the opponent snipe with a Geomancy, but now Scizor with 2 Protect Shields. Fishing for that boost, we fire off the Night Slash. Show me the boost. The opponent invests our final Protect Shield. Shadow Scizor gonna need to shield up the close combats. I think from here, Xboston can probably just 2 shield, commit to the full Bullet Punch farm down, and then start Night Slash spamming that Dialga. We shield up the next close combat. Scizor looks for the farm down, and we get it back out. Comes Dialga. We're at the back-to-back Night Slashes. They have no protection. The first one isn't lethal, but the second one is going to be enough to secure the dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. Scizor finally getting his revenge on the big stupid tin can basic bitch Dialga. In the next battle, we'll lead Shadow Scizor into Lugia. Both our typing and moveset should make this matchup favourable, but the stat product is no joke. Lugia far out bulks us. Xboston farms up, throws the Night Slash, show me the boost. It looks like Xboston used all his boost luck in the early part of the video. The opponent farm up some energy, send out Dialga, and Xboston says try and try again. Again we fish for the boost, and again RNG says fuck you, no chance. Xboston fires off yet another Night Slash. Do we finally see a boost? No, 3 for 3 on no boost. The opponent opt to throw the Iron Head. Iron Head will be lethal. Scizor has got this thing down below half health, so we can send in Lugia, shield once, commit to the full Dragon Tail farm down. Xboston looks for the farm down. Is this enough for a Draco? Xboston says no. However, he's wrong. The opponent full send the Draco. We nearly get knocked out. We're on 1 HP and a Dream. We then send in Amphoros, banking that energy. Lugia fires off the Sky Attack. Xboston hangs onto 2 shields and Disastra. Excadrill, definitely not what Amphoros wants to see. We fire off the Trailblaze, forcing a Protect Shield. This mole is so spammy, and even the mud shots are starting to add up. Xboston shields up the Drill Run. Excadrill incredibly spammy, already on the next Drill Run, and Xboston forced to burn the final shield. How does Xboston win this battle? I have no idea. We fire off the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing forces the final Protect Shield. Xboston looking to make a catch. The catch is unsuccessful. We fire off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack won't be lethal. The opponent looks for the full Mudshot farm down. The opponent leaves with the Drill Run, and Amphoros, I would say, gets vanquished. Back to our Pokeball, but I think absolutely any move whatsoever would take us out from that range. GG's to that opponent. Another battle of steel types, but one that Scizor very much appreciates. Unlike Dialga, the opponent instantly pivots into Haxorus. We answer with Lugia, and the opponent evidently having a rough day of GBL as they instantly top left. We'll just move swiftly on. Shadow Scizor into Shiny Shadow Mewtwo. What a cool flex. Xboston strikes first with the Night Slash. Night Slash forces an early Protect Shield. Even a resisted Psyshock's going to do a lot. Xboston refuses to shield. We're left deep in the red. The opponent then looks to snipe with Kyogre. Boston with cat-like reflexes saves his Scizor on minimal HP and answers with Amphoros. Boston gives his shield back. We then throw one Volt Switch and the Trailblaze. I would have liked to see Boston throw two for optimal fast move timing. Is that going to cost him? No, it's not. We still get the farm down. But 4 turn into 3 turn, you always want to ideally throw after 2, only giving away 1 free turn. The opponent send in Garchomp. Garchomp gets a nice Dragon Tail farm down. However, we have perfect alignment. We send in Lugia. The opponent throws after only 5 Dragon Tails. Why you Sand Tomb in a flyer? I have no idea. The opponent then send in Mewtwo. We then manage to catch the charge with on our low health Scizor. The opponent fire off the side strike, securing the knockout. Boston has now reset his debuff. I think we just shield up the potential Shadow Ball and then commit to the Dragon Tail farm down. Boston does correctly shield up the Shadow Ball. We're going to be able to Dragon Tail farm down before the next move. It's now just Garchomp remaining. Boston going to go straight Sky Attack. Sky Attack won't be lethal. However, we'll be able to Dragon Tail farm down afterwards, and the opponent chooses not to shield and they save it for next season. GG's and thanks for playing. Very nice lead. Shadow Scizor into Xerneas. Let's see what the opponent safe switch into. They build up some energy and then send out Lugia. Boston fires off the Night Slash. Night Slash won't do a lot, but finally we get a boost. Let's go. Due to Scizor's Bug Steel typing, this Sky Attack will hit for neutral. We see the instant no shield deployed. Yikes, that did a lot more than I was expecting. Boston tanks his energy, pivots out into Amphoros, and Amphoros going to go straight for the Brutal Swing. Boston goes for the undercharge. The opponent actually shield anyway. Boston sneaks the Volt Switch again. This is only a Sky Attack. An easy tank for Amphoros. Last time we attempted to farm down, and we ourselves got farmed down. However, this battle playing out a lot differently as the opponent actually give up switch. Sending out Excadrill, we fire off the Trailblaze, which vamps up our attack. Boston now makes the Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing should be forced in a Protect which it does. The opponent does get the full Mud Shot farm down. However, we have a 2 to no shield advantage. We send back out Scizor, lose CMP. We see the Protect Shield deployed as Boston wants to get off his energy. Excadrill incredibly glassy, but Night Slash won't get the job done. We fire off the Night Slash. Again, we get a boost. Boston fires off the next Night Slash. Night Slash will be knocking out. Boston spamming out the switch, anticipating Lugia coming in, looking to snipe with a Sky Attack. A very heads up play. This Sky Attack won't do a lot of damage. The opponent now sends back out Xerneas. We've got 1 Protect Shield, 2 high beyond. Where does Boston spend it? We shield up the Moonblast. Boston just needs to get to the Aeroblast to secure the knockout. We reach the Aeroblast. We lose CMP, but 1 Moonblast won't be lethal. We withstand the damage. However, Xerneas, you sir, won't be withstanding this. High Xerneas, bye Xerneas, get fucking wrecked. And 1 Dragon Tail is enough to take out the opposing Lugia, and we take the dub. GG's and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to my good friend Boston, showing us all that you don't need to run basic bitch meta to pick up some dubs in the Open Master League. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.